This took place after Season 1, after the big battle, after Heaven lost. They didn't know what to do. They were licking their wounds, but Lute had a plan, as she would go down to hell. As we cut to Vox, Velvet, and Val, as they're all there, having a conversation about what to do next. Suddenly, the door would fly open. As it flew open, suddenly, Lute would land in front of the table. They all were shocked as Vox, Valentino, and Velvet all got ready to fight. Vox would say, "We know how to take you on now." Lute would say, "I didn't come to fight you. I want to make a deal with you." "A deal?" They were all shocked as Velvet would say, "She has some pretty good stats." As then she took a picture of her. "Let's go trending with her." Lute would say, "No, this has to be a secret one." Valentino would say, "But you could be a star, an exorcist coming down to hell. I can make you famous, baby." As then she would say, "Gross." Vox would say, "Can you guys stop? You're going to ruin this opportunity. What'd you have in mind? We have angelic weapons and magic, and you have great technology. Let's make a super weapon." As Vox would say, "Now we're talking. You have an idea?" "Yeah, a robot." Lute would say, "I hear humans make those things, and I've seen some of them in hell. But we've never made one with holy magic before. Pure holy magic. With your smarts, we can do it." Vox would say, "Let's get to work." As they would start working immediately, Lute and some rebels from heaven would bring them great technology and great weapons, and he would accommodate it as Vox started to build days and days, weeks and weeks. But Vox needed a perfect weapon, a way to fight them, and he had it. He was going to use speed and strength. They can't hit something if it's too fast. It'll be perfect. They won't be able to stop it. As then, Metal Sonic would look around as it stood up. As Lute would say, "What's your name?" "Metal Sonic." Lute would say, "Doesn't that sound familiar to you?" Vox would say, "I'm a fan of stuff, alright? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We need to test him out. I know the perfect strategy. There's a mobsters. Low of the low. No one will care if something bad happens to him. Go test out your strength. Wipe them out. That's an order." "Aye, aye." Metal Sonic was then sent out. As Metal Sonic began to travel, he ran. He ran so fast that fire appeared on the ground. As he ran straight into another ring. Luckily, since he's not a sinner, he can go to any ring, unlike Vox, which will come in great handy. After this, he waited and waited and waited as he hid in the shadows, until eventually the mob would show up, as there was going to be a meeting there. As the meeting played out, they were selling some substances. You know how the mob works. As they're having a conversation, Metal Sonic would just walk in, as they all turned their faces at it. As one of the sharks said, "Tch, who the heck are you?" As an M pulled out a weapon and began to blast at Metal Sonic. But the bullet did nothing. It simply bounced off of him, as Metal Sonic would run and rip off his face. He did it so fast no one could see. As they all were terrified, they all began to fire. Metal Sonic wasn't scared, however. He would rip them apart one by one, ripping off limb after limb, beating them to the ground. As they all screamed in pain, they all screamed in agony, but it wasn't enough. As they fought bravely, but Metal Sonic was simply too strong, too powerful. He easily dealt with every single one of them. As they all laid on the ground, defeated. Pathetic. Metal Sonic felt a sense of pride, how he easily defeated them. Against his program, and he wasn't going rogue, at least not yet, but still. It was odd. He would walk back, as Vox and Lute were extremely excited. As Lute would say, "Alright, he's ready, right?" But Vox would say, "Yeah, but I want to go there too. I want to destroy the hotel with him." Lute would say, "Me too. Let's get ready." Lute would leave, and so would Vox. As Metal Sonic would be left alone, supposedly deactivated. But for some reason, he didn't deactivate himself. He wanted to stay awake. As then, he would go over to the hotel. He wouldn't break in there, he would just watch them. As he watched the hotel carefully, observing everything, he just continued to watch and watch, not knowing what to do or say. These were his enemies. He should hate them like his program had told him, but he doesn't. Was he going rogue? Was he free? He didn't know. As he watched, though, someone would walk up next to him. As it was Alastor, he would say, "Can I help you?" As then Metal Sonic would say, "Well, I was just I guess I'll be going. As then he started to walk off, Alastor would say, you really think you can get away that easily? Get away, I don't want to fight you, unless you want to fight. I'm not scared of you, you know. He would walk up to him and get ready to fight. As Alastor could feel weird, he didn't have sinister intentions, but he wanted to fight him. Alastor would say, usually I hate new technology, but you're not too bad. Now run along. He said whatever, as then he walked off. As he went back to his home, he would remember that interaction. Something about it, he just didn't know. However, he would stay loyal to Vox and Lute, at least for now. Over time, though, something began to happen. He started to get tired of taking orders, order after order. He began to get tired of being ordered around, tired of being bossed around, tired of being controlled. As Lute and Vox held everything, as it was a night before the attack, everything was set up. Metal Sonic decided if he was going to attack it, he was going to do it by himself. He wasn't going to put up with any of this nonsense. As Lute and Vox were getting ready, suddenly, Metal Sonic would slowly walk up to him. Vox would say, you're supposed to be in front of this place. As soon as night hits, you're going to run in there and destroy as much as you can. Then we'll sneak behind and Metal Sonic would say no. Vox would say, what the F do you mean no? I made you. You can't just say no to me. Are you an idiot? Do you not understand how that works? I am your creator. Now you better, mother. As then suddenly, Sonic would say, shut up, as he would punch him. Sonic would then fight Lute and Vox. Vox would shoot electricity, but Sonic would be too fast to run around the room. Lute would pull out a button, about to turn him off, but then Metal Sonic would jump down and crush it. Then kick her in the face, sending her flying. As then he said, you all are too weak. This will be easy. You created something too perfect, too strong. Vox would say, damn it, Lute, all you had to do was hit that button. No matter, as then he would use his power to shoot electricity everywhere, so it didn't matter where Sonic was. He was hoping this would shut him off, as he made him weak to electricity, but Metal Sonic had an ace up his sleeve, as he jumped into the concrete floor and began to swim through it like water, as then he grabbed Vox and pulled him under, and began to hit him again and again and again and again, until his circuitry was no more, until blood came out of his face, as Metal Sonic would jump out and throw his lifeless body to the floor. That was easy, as then Lute would charge at him. He would simply dodge and kick Lute to the ground, as then he stomped on her. Lute would try to get up and try to fight back, but it was no match, as he just stomped and stopped until she was no more. As then he would walk over to the hotel. As he would knock on the door, Charlie would answer and say, what the heck? Alastor would say, are you here to fight us like I predicted? I told Charlie about... Wait a second, your fists are covered in blood. It's Vox's blood. I'm not taking orders from him anymore. I figured you found that out. Alastor would say, you'd rather fight them than me. Smart. Very smart. Metal Sonic would say, I don't care about that. If you want to fight me now. As then Charlie would say, okay, you can come in. As then it walked in, Vaggy would say, Charlie, are you serious right now? As then Vaggy would go, that thing is literally a metal death machine. Metal Sonic would say, you know I can hear you right now. Shut up. I mean, look at this thing. It might be small, but it's packed with some of the most dangerous metal. And there's angelic power into them. We can't just... Charlie would say it's fine. As in, Metal Sonic would be allowed to stay at the hotel. Alastor had mixed feelings. He hated new technology, but Metal Sonic did take out Vox, his biggest enemy, and did save the hotel. So he was on the fence about him a lot. But he respected him for his strength at the very least. Huss didn't really care. He just drank. And since robots can't really drink, they didn't really interact much, as Charlie absolutely adored Metal Sonic. He had free will. He chose good over evil. He represented so much. Vacu was very wary of him, but as months passed, she slowly warmed up to him, as everything seemed to be going right. Everything seemed to be going well. Metal Sonic could have a new life here. He could enjoy it here. He could actually be happy here.